Hello, BookTube. So I went to West Leb and I went to the Listen thrift store, a charity shop that I frequent quite a bit of distance from the house. So we only go up there when we have other projects, other things, for shopping and stuff. I live in rural Vermont, and where I live, there's literally, there's a gas station. I think that's about it. So we went up today. Beautiful, beautiful day. Probably 50 Fahrenheit, maybe edging up towards the 60. So we had tons of snow still on the ground, but it's starting to melt pretty good. And I can hear the river at night. I just straight outside my door here. It's a Black River. And yeah, it's beautiful time of year. It can get mucky and muddy, and it can get everything's brownish, and there's no leaves on the trees, obviously. But you'll start seeing the flowers come up, the daffodils, and all those sorts of things. So anyway, part of what we did is we stopped at the thrift store, um, and I got some books. And I got one. So normally I pay $1 a book. Paperback, hardback, it doesn't matter. And that's the way it is there. But they do have books that are specially marked. They don't overdo it, which I appreciate. And I did buy one book for $8. Not something I typically do, unless it really is outstanding. And this one, actually, I didn't know much about. So I know about the book, but I didn't know about the edition. So I'm going to start off here with some science fiction. The Reality Dysfunction, Part 1, Emergence by Peter F. Hamilton. Peter F. Hamilton, with the Futurian book group we're doing on BookTube, is on the list. I can't remember what book is on the list. You can go to some of those announcement videos. He's been on my radar, so this is part 1. So you could buy this as a hardback or a giant trade, I think, where it just all be in one volume. But he's a writer that I've wanted to get to. He's a Englishman. He's only a year older than I am. So we got Gregory Benford, SFX, a few other people. Stephen Baxter doing little blurbs here. When did this thing come out? This came out in 1996. This series has taken on one of science fiction and maybe all of literature's primal jobs, the creation of a world with the scale and complexity of the real one, and that's Locust. A spectacular, vast galactic saga, The Reality Dysfunction has won international acclaim, joining the sweeping epic tradition, of the Foundation series, Dune, and Hyperion. This is a stunning universe of Edenists, telepathically gene-linked to their sentient ships and living worlds, of nano-augmented star pilots and warriors, and of terrifying ancient alien mysteries beyond human comprehension. This sounds really cool. So if you've read this and liked it or disliked it, just leave me a comment. Never read it. Never read Peter F. Hamilton that I can remember. So, anywho, this next one. Most of us know who Daphne du Maurier is, and this is the du Mauriers. This is a family saga of the du Maurier family. So it's a memoir, autobiography, family history type thing. I never heard of this. I've always wanted to read Frenchman's Creek by Daphne and Jamaica Inn. And then, let me see, everybody knows Rebecca, I guess. This thing, and then one of our ancestors wrote, what was the Peter Ibbotson? I think I have that in the Heritage Press edition, and I haven't read it. I don't even know why. I've had it for a long time. I just never got to it. So there's a dedication from October 1936. This is an Avon book from October 1974. It's got these nice colored edges And I always appreciate that. I just think they survived better, but who knows? So this one actually, so it's a book I'm totally unfamiliar with, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next is a book I've read, but I'm thrilled to have a copy of. And this is Robert D. Richardson with a foreword by Megan Marshall. Three Roads Back. How Emerson, Thoreau, and William James responded to the greatest losses of their lives. And I read this when it first came out, and this is Princeton. And when did it come out? It was just a year or two ago. Right before he died. It's Princeton and Oxford. It was Princeton University Press. And this came out in 2023. And it's just that, about how each of these figures dealt with loss. So I've got all of his big books. William James, The Maelstrom of American Modernism. Henry Thoreau, A Life of the Mind, which is wonderful. And Emerson, The Mind on Fire, which is the first book of his I ever read, which was fantastic. He's a recipient of the Bancroft and Francis Parkman Prizes and was a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award. So, yeah, thin little thing. Not the most cheerful subject, but an interesting thing to see how these people responded. So now, I have this volume in 3 volumes in the Heritage Press box sets, slipcase sets, I guess you'd say. And I couldn't walk by this. Just couldn't walk by it. It's a single volume. So I figure when I go up to my camp in Maine and hang out, it's probably easier to carry than the Heritage Press ones. That's the story I'm telling myself. And it's this ginormous thing here. This is The Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell. Penguin Classics, edited by David Womersley. Let's see. This is a new and unabridged edition. Wormsley introduction examines the motive behind Boswell's work, the difference between the two men that drew them together. Also contains chronologies of Boswell's and Johnson's, appendices, and comprehensive indexes, including biographical details. So for that difference alone, it's worth having. And this thing, yeah, it's got 1,245 pages. And then you'll see some of the helps in the back. So glad to have it. No writing or underlining or anything. Ginormous thing, but one of those things you have to have, I think. This next one I'm excited about. I've read a lot of Orhan Pamuk. This is his Istanbul. I'm just having a problem speaking, as usual. Memories and the City. Orhan Pamuk. I've read My Name is Red. I've read Snow. I've read some of his collected fiction. Always enjoyed him. This is a portrait by turns intimate and panoramic of one of the world's great cities by its foremost man of letters, the acclaimed author of Snow and My Name is Red. Blending reminiscence with history, family photographs, and portraits of poets and pashas, art criticism, metaphysical musings, and now and again a fanciful tale, Orhan Pamuk invents an ingenious form to evoke his lifelong home, the city that forged his imagination. Deckled edge thing. Lots of photos. And this came out in 2005 by, and it's Alfred A. Knopf out of New York. Just a wonderful, wonderful writer. So, loved everything by him I've ever read. So I was thrilled to find this. I have not read this. Then, one of 2 books about Africa I got. This is Isaac Dinesen, Letters from Africa, 1914 to 1931, edited for the Rungstedlund Foundation by Franz Larsen, translated by Anne Bourne. So the lady who wrote Out of Africa. Here is a rich new biographical perspective on the brilliant storyteller whose sophisticated romantic fiction made her an international success and a perpetual candidate for the Nobel Prize for Literature. These letters contain the raw material that was later transformed into a classic memoir out of Africa. They also reveal her as a highly intelligent and sensitive analyst of a strange new world. This is cool. I think I know. I talked to Sean D. Standfast, and he has this in a hardback edition. He was very well aware of it, but I was not. And just thrilled to have this. These letter type things I dip in and out of. So glad to have it. I'm going to shift the order on this here. This is sort of a cool book. I mean, I haven't read any of it yet. Didn't even know about it. This is In Sunlight or in Shadow. Stories inspired by the paintings of Edward Hopper. Sort of a cool idea, right? Edited by Lawrence Block. So it features Stephen King, Joyce Carol Oates, Robert Olin Butler, Michael Connelly, Megan Abbott, Craig Ferguson, Nicholas Christopher, Jill D. Block, Joe R. Lansdale, Justin Scott, Chris Nelscott, Warren Moore, Jonathan Santaloffer, I don't know him, Jeffrey Deaver, Lee Child, who I'm watching. I'm on episodes. I just finished episode 6 of Reacher on Prime. Gail Levin and Lawrence Block. So of course a famous picture there, painting there. But this has sort of caught my eye. So when did this come out? It's an anthology from Pegasus Books, New York and London. And this thing came out in 2016. It's in beautiful shape. But these stories have Hopper paintings in front of them. This ought to be fun, right? I got so praise for Lawrence Block. You have New York Times Book Review. Stephen King, San Francisco Chronicle, and Philadelphia Inquirer. Just talking about Block. So this is actually pretty cool. I'll probably read this, and then I have a buddy who's a hardcore mystery fan, and I'll hand it off to him. Then, this is sort of the find. This is one I spent $8 on. Now, I know Time Life books. The Civil War books. I've got up here the Seafarers, which is a big series of oversized things, thin, on nautical stuff. I've got, they did one on the West, but they also did thick volumes of reprints of the Old West that I really like. I've only got one. I used to have a bunch of them. I need to recollect them. And then I have one or two of the Civil War, like reprints of old Civil War books. They got these poofy leatherette type covers. Well, this I'd never seen. I don't know how I missed it. But this is what I got. It was still in the plastic, and the plastic was old and yellow. This thing had never been opened. And there's actually more of them there, and I may go back tomorrow and get more, because I sort of like them. So this is it. And this is Journal of Discovery of the Source of the Nile by Speak. There you go. And you see Time Life books. I'm going to pull some of these out first and show them to you separately. Hold on here. So you got the gilt edges all the way around. And it's got the ribbon marker. Marbled paper. Feels good in the hand. There you go. Sort of a cool reprint here. William Blackwood and Sons. It's John Hanning Speak. Journal of Discovery of the Source of the Nile. And reprinted in 1985 here. So quite exciting to have this. Let me see, give you some of these pages. The old Images. African exploration. The source of the Nile. All very cool. Then in the back, I'm not taking it out right now because I'm afraid I'd rip it if I try to do it on camera. There are maps, 2 of them it looks like, 2 different sets. In the back like they would have been done in the back in the day. Then it has a little editor's insert here. That goes with the book. And then it also has the book plate. So $8, like I say, we'll probably go back tomorrow because now I'm going to regret not getting the other ones. And like I say, I usually don't pay that much for a book, $8, but this looks pretty good. So very happy to have all these. It's a fine day. I'm going to do another video tomorrow on a tag video, hopefully, if everything goes well. And I hope you're doing well. Like I say, it's just gorgeous out right now. So it's a really pretty day. And thank you, BookTube.